has won the Kentucky Derby!
Cyberknife in front.
White ABARRIO wins the Florida Derby.
Smile Happy has kicked it into high gear.
MESSIER turns it on.
ZANDON wins the Toyota Bluegrass.
And here's TAIBA. You look at him jet home.
And it's EPICENTER. EPICENTER decisively.
Courtland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and as the great Jack Whitaker once said, it's the Kentucky Derby. The volume is turned all the way up, and everything is in capital letters. 20 horses in the gate here, and as you look at the field and you look at all the horses on the outside that have speed in this race, remember there's no shortage of 11 or 12 speed horses in this Derby. I think that based on some of these outside draws, I'm tossing about 10 horses. Number 9, Tiz the Bomb, is very interesting, as is the 19 Zozos, the 16 Cyberknife. 2 of those trained by Brad Cox. He drew the 16, the 18, and the 19. Tawny Port, I think, drew the 18. I think it's going to be difficult to navigate a trip, but that brings a series of questions. Will that outside speed be content to allow the inside speed to get prime positions, and then the roles change from being a speed horse to a stalker, or from a stalker to kind of a mid-pack closing horse? Can these horses that decide, that make that decision, be controlled in doing that and be able to get the mile and a quarter, be better served in getting the 10 furlongs? Or will you have some horses that decide, we're going to get out there, we're going to gun it, we're going to try to outrun the inside speed, and the confidence in the stamina of the horse, and in the belief that the horse has enough stamina to get a mile and a quarter, that early speed is not going to diminish our chances. That is going to be, I think, the biggest factor in the race, coupled with ZANDON, who was the early favorite in the morning line. What happens when he breaks? He's been a little slow to break. He's coming out of an ideal post. He should be able to get in behind the speeds like MESSIER, Charge It, Smile Happy, and EPICENTER. He should be able to secure a good spot no matter what TAIBA, Pioneer, Medina, and Simplification from holes 11 through 13 do. If that doesn't happen, those 3 horses in the middle could take up some prime position, which also could compromise the outside horses. So that's going to be important. Although Elliott Walden, when training, made a great assumption or a great assessment that sometimes speed post positions don't make a difference when you got a quarter of a mile to get to the first turn. But I think it's going to play a factor in the early strategy and the later success or failure of these horses in the Derby, which brings me to ZANDON. A lot of buzz around him off the bluegrass. He stepped up in terms of those 93 matching Equibase and Beyer speed figures, both 93s. He went up to 98 with his eye-catching win in the bluegrass, but there's a problem here. Even if he goes up, let's say, incrementally another 5 points, that would match MESSIER's top in the Bob Lewis at 103. Keep in mind, MESSIER dropped 4 points in the Santa Anita Derby, which is still 1 point higher than ZANDON. If he, along with those freak horses with triple-digit buyers, TAIBA and EPICENTER, improve beyond slightly, if they match and surpass their numbers by anywhere beyond 3 points, ZANDON's got a problem even with a 5-point improvement. I think the ideal perfect world scenario would be as if those horses drop in their numbers and they can't get the trip, and he steps up, and if it's 5 points, it may win him the Derby. Definitely overall, whether those horses step up or not, or run well, he's going to have to improve 7 to 8 to 10 points in order to really ensure a victory in this Kentucky Derby, particularly if the others only slightly improve, he can win it. But if they improve anywhere near the level that they're capable of, then ZANDON's going to be in some trouble. Same could be said for White ABARRIO, who I like a lot going into this race. The post position has tempered the confidence with the price that he had. He was 14 to 1 initially. He's at 10 now. And I like his running style. I think he can get the trip. I think he's going to run hard. And I think it's going to take one of the brilliant horses to beat him. But the 15 is a little bit of a concern, yet still I think that if there's any horse in this race that could improve, given all the buzz around ZANDON, I think it's him. And he's being overlooked. He's still a good price at 10. That may fluctuate in the minutes leading up to the Kentucky Derby, or the hours, minutes, and seconds leading up to when they break out of that gate, which leads me to the picks. I think that White ABARRIO is interesting. I wouldn't say I'm not going to get anyone off of those horses that you think are better than him, but I do think that it might be a wise guy, wise girl bet to key him in, definitely in your supers and as a win bet, the 15, the 3, the 6, and the 12. you possibly could key in at the end of the superfecta of the 15, 3, and the 6, the 1, the 5, or the 13. Simplification's interesting in there too. Now he's ballooned up to almost 50 to 1. So it's 15, 3, 6, 12. Your tail end could be the 1, Mo Donegal, the 5, Smile Happy. I think he drew well. He might be able to overachieve and get the distance. The 1, the 5, and the 13. Those are 3 alternative numbers to key in to the end of that superfecta with white ABARRIO on top. My second scenario, you got to go with some logic here. 2 track records, 102 buyer speed figure. The horse is a freak. I think he's one of 2 horses, maybe 3, that could not only win the Derby, win the Triple Crown. That's EPICENTER, the number 3, the 12, the 6, and the 15. I think that you could key in some other numbers. It could be the 3, the 6, the 10, and maybe Zozo's. Maybe he can overcome the 19. Maybe you could key him or Charge It, who drew well from the 8 or the 16 Cyberknife. 3, 12, 6. And maybe one of those 3 numbers, 19, 8, 16, but I'm looking at the 3, the 12, the 6, and the 15, white ABARRIO finishing 4th. In that scenario, my number ones, because this is kind of a difficult derby to dissect. It's difficult dissecting this derby. I've got the 12 TAIBA winning this, the 12, the 6, the 3, and the 5, with Smile Happy getting the tail end of the super, or the 12, the 6, the 3, and the 10, with ZANDON getting 4th. You could flip that exacta, the 6, MESSIER, the 12, the 3, and the 5, with those corresponding numbers, or you could go 6, 12, 3, and then maybe the 10. I do think ZANDON's capable of getting 4th, but I think there's some horses in here that stand to improve that could keep him from getting in the top 4, never mind winning it. But those are my picks for the Kentucky Derby. Trust me, I'm not gonna, profess to be the expert on it, but those are kind of my hunches on who can win this first classic of the Triple Crown. We're certainly going to recap it and go over that along with the other big stake races right here at the CS Racing Report.